Hello, and welcome to another Class for Kids online event. This month, we're going to be looking at how you can get your kids' club in front of local parents and really crack that social media SEO algorithm. So we've got lots to cover today. But before we do that, we'll just do some introductions. So I'm Caitlin. I'm the social media manager here at Class for Kids.
And I'm Rebecca, and I manage brand and campaigns at Class for Kids. And today we are going to be looking at a whole host of different things, as Caitlin already mentioned. So first of all, we're going to be looking at why is search important, and we're talking specifically about how parents search for you and what channels or places they might be searching for you on. What is it that parents are searching for, and how do you become easy to find and easy to book? Because ultimately it comes down to, do you have a simple booking process for parents to be able to book straight into a class, and that'll sort of help reduce your bounce rate on your website. As well as how to stop the scroll, and you're getting a bonus piece of content with the consistency checklist. So I think we should just get into it and start discovering how to improve your search.
Brilliant. So you might be thinking, great, but why does it matter? So ultimately, it matters because 97% of people learn about a local company online than anywhere else, that's not just me, that's from SEO Tribunal. That's a really, really big statistic. Didn't make that up, I promise. So why this matters for you: if parents can't find you online, then you're missing out on lots of potential customers. And the big question really is, when parents in your area are searching for activities for their kids, are they finding you or are they finding your competitors? So I think if we kind of like picture this scenario where maybe it's 10 p.m., the kids are in bed, mum or dad's on the sofa scrolling, they've been thinking they want to sign their little one up for something new. And if your club doesn't pop up on their feed, or your profile doesn't grab their attention, or your business listing doesn't grab their attention, then you've lost them and they keep scrolling. I think right now there's such a high volume online, whether that's on Google, whether that's on social media. And so you really need to make sure that you're rising above that noise and that you're really easy to find and easy to book, which we'll go into in a little bit.
And I think when it comes to that statistic that Caitlin highlighted, that 97% of people will sort of learn about your company online, I think there's lots of things that kind of contribute to that statistic. So it's not saying directly that 97% of people will just find you by chance online. There's lots of things that play into that. So that's mainly your brand, which we've covered off in a previous online event. So you have to think about, how is it that your brand is getting out there? Is it word of mouth from your parents and, they're referring people, a friend, another kid, another child to the club? And is it your social media presence? So all of these things and all the places that you're advertising on are really important, and that ultimately is what drives people, and parents in particular, to search for your club. So it's really important that you're not just considering Google in this case, but you're actually thinking about your wider brand in a more holistic sense, and making sure that you are asking for things like referrals, making sure that you are posting on social media. So if you haven't already, you can check out our previous webinars by heading to our social channels and finding where you can sign up for those.
Yeah, you can get the on-demand version, which is great. So as kind of Rebecca was saying there, parents today aren't just searching on Google or Instagram, or just kind of finding your business by accident. They're searching online first, so that it could be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. Like, there's so many in community groups on Facebook. There's so many different avenues in which they can be finding your business. And then what they'll do is they'll compare quickly. So reviews, video, what's your general kind of vibe? What does your club look like? It matches what they want for their kids. And again, this is what I was saying earlier in terms of volume. The reviews are so important because they build that credibility, which we will talk about a little bit more later on. They also want easy booking, so one click, simple call to action. They can just be checked in 30 seconds or less. So people want convenience, ultimately. But then once you've got this, they are very good at following for updates, offers, class info, they will then add to your community.
And I think a good thing to do with what Caitlin's just been talking about there is, if you can actually sit down and map out, how does a parent first of all find you, and then what's the process to book. You want to make sure that there are as little barriers as possible in the way of parents being able to book. So literally grab a pen and paper, pause this webinar just now, and mark out from Instagram, how would somebody book? How would a parent go about booking? If you have a website, the same thing. If they were referred by a friend, and X Club is running a great session, a trial session, you should go and book for it. How would somebody who has no idea about your business find you? Start to map out, okay, well, they come to the website, then they've got to click here, they've got to do this. And then, is it a simple booking process, or are you potentially losing out in customers? So I think we'll touch on that later on about the benefits of a booking software, but it's more like, can they instantly book, or are you losing out in potential customers who are then having to wait for responses, and response times might not be immediate? So it's just a consideration. I think it's actually a really healthy exercise for you to go about drawing out, mapping out what your customer booking journey is. And that'll just kind of give you an indication of A, how long is it, B, what are the barriers to entry, and C, how simple is it for them to get booked straight into a class. So that's kind of one of my suggestions to do. Just pause this webinar just now and then get back to the rest of it.
Absolutely. So today we're going to make sure that you're not invisible, but you're actually maybe irresistible to local parents online, trying to go for the alliteration moments. And yeah, we want to make sure that we're really standing out. So as kind of Rebecca mentioned, how do we want to do this? We want to be easy to find. So the first step to kind of cracking the algorithm is making sure that platforms know who you are. So it's kind of what you were saying in terms of brand, your purpose, what you do and where you are. And parents should see this at a glance. And if they can't see all three of these things, the chances of them scrolling on is going to be considerably higher. So how can we kind of be easy to find on social media? So you want to be using clear keywords in your name and handle. So the example I've kind of given here is a dance school called 12 Stars. They're based in Bristol. So the handle is 12 Stars Bristol. We want to make sure you've got at least one of those three things in the handle, whether that's dance classes, whether that's location. And then that's where you can then use the name to kind of bring in even more of those keywords. So in this instance, it's 12 Stars Dance Classes Bristol. And that's when you can then start adding in niche terms to your profile. So do you offer ballet, hip hop, preschool dance, commercial, cheer, whatever's relevant to whatever kind of club you have. And your bio should really kind of pass the 5-second stranger testicle. So like, do they instantly know who you are? Do they instantly know where you are? And do they instantly know how to take the next step? So is there a really clear call to action where they need to know do they need to book a class? Do they need to sign up to a wait list? Do they want to add on a free trial? That kind of thing. You also want to make sure that your unique selling point is benefit led. So a bad one might be like, we teach dance to children. We want children to have fun. And it's like, whereas better might be kind of confidence, friendships, and fun for ages 3 to 12. But you can even kind of narrow that down even so that's where you can maybe then bring in those niche words as well, but just really, really clear, unique selling point, what you do, what your brand is, why you exist.
And I think, just touching on that again, it's more about as well, like Caitlin's pointed out, what value are you adding both from parents and the child, and a good way of finding out that information, if you don't have something that comes to mind immediately, is running a parent survey and just kind of finding out, does your child enjoy our classes? What do you feel that they benefit from most? And if your child could describe our brand in 3 words or our club in 3 words, school, whatever it is that you run, get the child to kind of help you build that, unique selling point, that vision of your brand is probably a good starting point.
There is really no one more honest than a child.
Yeah, humbling sometimes, but do you know what? But life is good feedback.
Yeah, I think definitely if you ask the child maybe under the age of 9, they're just going to say what they think.
I still think you should do it. Just take that humbling experience and it's probably all going to be so positive, and it'll actually just help shape. Maybe you'll probably find 3 to 5 common words that children use to describe your classes, and it can just help you view your brand in a different way, because as I always say at Class for Kids, it doesn't matter what people in the business think about Class for Kids, it's ultimately our customers.
And as I kind of mentioned earlier, you want to have that really strong call to action. So book a free trial class, see our class schedule. And that's where having a booking system, which we'll talk to a little bit more in the kind of be easy to book, is really, really useful, because it's just an immediate link that you can drop right in there. So you don't want a homepage, you don't want kind of a PDF. You want parents to know exactly where they need to go. They go into a timetable, a booking form, an inquiry form. It's just really, really, really clear. So we talked about social media. Now we're just going to talk a little bit about SEO. So Debbie, if you want to take
Yes, I can cover some of that off. SEO can sometimes be a little bit of a daunting word. If you haven't heard of it, it stands for search engine optimization. There's lots of different things that play into that, but basically, in a nutshell, what that means is you want to be as easy to discover as possible based on what parents are actually searching for. So if I was to take Class for Kids as an example, people might search directly for our brand name, or they might search for dance or football booking software. It's likely that your parents are searching either for your brand name, so what your club, school, academy is called, or they're searching for whatever class type you offer. So is it dance, is it football sessions, and then the local area. And that's kind of what Caitlin touched on with Instagram and making sure that your bio's optimized. And it's the exact same thing with search engine optimization. You want to make sure that you are as easy to discover as possible, and thinking about how different parents might be searching for you. And we can link to some helpful tools that are really easy for beginners to navigate, and some helpful tutorials on how to find out what it is that parents might be searching for. But one of the biggest things that you can do, I mean, if I asked you what search engine you use, most people are probably going to say Google, maybe Safari. But the biggest thing you can do, regardless of search engine, with SEO is claiming your Google listing on Google My Business. Now, think about this. Whenever you go to search for a business, you're likely going to see their Google My Business page pop up first before anything else. It sits on the right-hand side of the screen when you Google something. So go and search for your own school, academy, club, or go and search for a business local to you and you'll see exactly what I mean. But the benefit of claiming this listing is that it builds credibility, it builds authority, and it builds trust because you're able to own that page. So make sure that you claim the listing first of all. It's also a great way of personalizing and managing things. So the main things that you can do here are add direct booking links or a link to your website. You can add a contact number so that parents can literally find out who's the person that I want to contact and when can I phone them. You can also add in frequently asked questions, and more importantly, you can also get reviews, which again builds credibility both for Google's side of things to understand that you're an actual business, as well as parents. So when you go on to search for any company online, you immediately want to know what is it that people think of them before I go and book an experience with them. And you can derive reviews there, so you can ask parents to leave reviews, but you can also respond to them as well. So it just builds a bit more credibility for parents. So I think it's a great thing that builds credibility and trust. It's something that you don't need to manage every single day. It's something you maybe add in as a monthly task, just to make sure that you're replying to reviews. Google loves when you do these things and you're kind of on it with that. And I think, including keywords in your description as well. So like what Caitlin mentioned, is it football sessions in, let's just pick a city, Birmingham. What is it that you offer that's unique? So just make sure that you're thinking about keywords and key search phrases that parents might be looking for, and how would your club or academy appear in that as well. So I think that covers off Google My Business, SEO, really high level detail. Later in this series we'll touch more on SEO as well, so we'll do an in-depth session on that, and again it's for beginner levels. I think it's just not being afraid of SEO and that like kind of harnessing it,
It's one of those where I think acronyms are just sound intimidating.
They do, right? And I think anything that you have to think about that's out of your comfort level it's a little bit uncomfortable, but with AI coming into that as well, it's really important to think about. Right now, if you search for something in Google, the first thing you actually see is an AI overview. So you're just wanting to make sure that you are investing in your SEO strategy to make sure that you're appealing for things. So now when you go and search for something on Google, it's the AI overview. It's not necessarily websites that appear first of all. So if parents are searching for classes in your local area, you're going to want to make sure that you're investing in that to appear in the AI overview first of all. But again, we do have another webinar, AI Hacks, which our colleague Stephen will be hosting. So there's lots of stuff that we can cover in that section as well.
Yeah, I'd say another thing as well in terms of for your Google listing is make sure the photos, I add photos. And up-to-date Google really loves a photo.
Oh, and another point, I love how we're like another point. Actually, this merges the Instagram and the SEO side of things in Google really closely together. So one of the big social updates that you were aware of in your space is...
So it's about a month and a half ago is that Instagram posts are now indexable on Google, which means if someone's searching your business on Google, it's not just your website it's going to come up. It could be individual Instagram posts. It's not just going to be a profile. It could be, if you're doing a post on frequently asked question or like something about your USP or what value you offer, that could pop up as a result.
So I think what we're encouraging here is to think of the two in tandem. Don't isolate them and just work on them at your own pace and at different times, but one will feed the other, and actually investing in these channels can benefit you in both sides. So I think it's, the more you optimize your Instagram, the easier it will become for Google to understand who you are, what you offer, to pull through things that when parents are searching for dance classes, football sessions, gymnastics classes, if you have something that's already working in the Instagram space, actually that can come through on Google as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of have you saying you treat them in tandem really. So even treat this one as like a social media account. So you're keeping it alive with those updates, those review responses, those photos.
And it's not just adding to your to-do list for the sake of it. There's real benefit. Google likes to know that you are credible and trustworthy before it pushes your content to the forefront of parents' minds. So
I could say it's helping you crack the algorithm.
You could say that, yeah.
So gonna kind of put this to the test a little bit. If you take out your phone now, kind of how Rebecca was talking about earlier, but search your business name on Google, Instagram, and pretend you've never heard of you. So could you in 5 seconds, because that's the probably a quite generous amount of time that you're gonna have someone's attention for, tell what you do, where you are, and how to book. And if not, write down what change you'll make first. So do you have they know where you are and what you do, but it's really unclear how you book. Okay. Write that down. What's the action you can take to make that really easy? Vice versa. Location's super simple. Pop that in. But it just kind of keeps you checking in now.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about how you can be easy to book. So obviously getting found's only half of the battle. The other half is making it ridiculously easy for parents to then book on, because ultimately if you're putting all this work in being found and they're clicking the link and then nothing's happening, it's not wasted, but you're not getting the outcome that you want.
Yeah.
So if parents are distracted, life's busy. If booking your class feels more like a chore, they're going to move on. So you kind of want that frictionless booking. So is there like a book now button on Instagram or Facebook? Do you kind of have a link that goes off to that? How I was speaking earlier about that really cool, clear call to action. It goes directly to a booking page, not a homepage or a PDF or like some kind of Google form. Want to make it look really clear and easy. And are you including benefit-led call to actions in posts? So when you are doing your social media planning, which we talked about in a previous online event, so you can go and sign up and watch the on-demand version of that, where we kind of go through how you can do that in a way that works for your club. Are you kind of putting like start your child's dance journey today, secure your place for our summer football camp, really clear call to actions where they're seeing that post and they're going, oh, maybe little John would like to go to football camp, I'll click on and book. And it's really simple and easy. People like being told what to do. They think they don't, but they do on like a kind of unconscious subliminal level. And you want to really make sure that that process takes less than 30 seconds on a phone as well. So is it on a platform that's compatible for browser on mobile? I was speaking about this last week actually, but I think it's something as high as 75% of all e-commerce purchases will be made on a mobile browser by the end of this year. So it's really important to make sure that that is super simple and easy, because again, ultimately, if someone's scrolling on Instagram, for example, they're probably doing it on their phone.
Yeah. And it's like that kind of ease of booking, like, I don't know how many times in the past 6 months even I've actually used my card. I'm using Apple Pay all the time. So 100% there are, things out there and booking and payment solutions that will allow you to take payments that way. But see, the easier that you make it for a parent, the more likely they are just to commit and sign up there and then, rather than having barriers. Then it just means they're like, oh, I'm not sure how I need to book that or how I need to pay for it. So it's like really clear with the benefit-led call to action what you're looking them to do. But then you're following up with the same kind of ease of booking for them at that point in time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a case of, again, looking at it as if you were a parent, try that booking process. And if it feels like more than 30 seconds, write down how you can improve that and you can make that as easy for them as possible. Because ultimately what we want to do is stop the scroll. So being findable and bookable won't matter if if your posts or your profile doesn't actually make people stop scrolling. And the algorithm's job ultimately, for whether it's Meta or Google or TikTok, is to keep people on the platform. That's what they want.
You're doing scrolling.
Yeah, that's why they're like, I want you to never leave this platform ever. So if your content's interesting, engaging, and consistent, the platform is then going to show it to more parents, because the chances are they'll keep scrolling. It's a little bit of an ever-ending cycle that you have to kind of feed into. So some ways in which you can kind of help stop the scroll. We obviously spoke about this in a bit of detail at a previous online event, and we will cover it in a little bit more detail in the coming months. I think we're definitely going to do a content creation event.
Yes.
But it's using bright, clear, high quality images. You got happy, active kids, fun, safe environments. Obviously, video permissions is important. Make sure that you've got them.
I think, making sure that it's easy to understand, like a register level, who can we have in content if you're looking to do some content creation in a class. And like Caitlin said, we'll cover that in a separate session, but just quickly at a glance, this child isn't allowed to be included in photos and you've got that consent or not consent from parents. It's just really easy to understand at a glance, and it makes shooting your content far easier.
Yeah, definitely. You posting kind of short videos and reels, these are being boosted on most platforms right now. Video is still king, and the algorithm just loves that. And using captions that spark curiosity, emotion, or value. So it could be like 3-year-old Rebecca, sorry, let's say that into my head already. 3-year-old Rebecca masters this new move today. Here's how. Or kind of 5 minutes of this game, but it was a full hour of smiley faces. That kind of thing, really demonstrating. That's where your kind of unique selling point, your value comes in. So if your club is all about confidence, you're really leaning into that with the posts that you're doing. And you want to be alternating between content that shows what you do, again, who you are, and gives parents tips or value. I know I keep harping on about what you do and who you are, but it's just so important to be findable.
And I think if you are stuck on that, it's fine. Don't worry. There's a couple of things that we can kind of talk through very quickly here. And we've already referred to the content creation session that'll be coming up. But what I would like you to do is, if you are stuck, or even if you're not stuck and you're just looking for a bit of inspiration, is first of all, go to a brand, a company that you love. Look at it as, you know, what kind of content pillars, if you like, are they following? So as Caitlin said, it's showing what they do, it's showing who they are, and then it's giving their customers hints and tips. And then I want you to look at another school, another academy, another club, maybe within your local area, or somebody that you know, maybe somebody that you've heard of, and go to their social channels. You know, who do you admire in the space in the kids activity industry, and have a look at their social channel, and again apply the same thing. And you know, we do it at Class for Kids. We'll look at different brands for inspiration, and it's natural in a human to want to kind of look outwards and say, okay, well, what is it that I like, and then figure out what would actually work and what would apply to your club. And just, you know, having that ability to be able to go and look at the wider kind of environment of what's going on around you, and then taking the bits that you like and the bits that you think are good, tying that back to your club. And as Caitlin says, the biggest thing is just make sure it adds value for your customers. If your parents come on and they feel valued, they feel they found the information they're looking for, you've already done half of the work to get them to book into the class. Using things like the benefit-led call to actions and making the booking process as simple as possible, it's just that kind of final piece of the puzzle. So don't think it all lies within a call to action or a booking software. It's about what value do you add to the customer as well.
100%. And really what brings value is consistency. So you'll kind of have a little bit of a consistency checklist that you'll take away as a resource. So we'll kind of go through how you can optimize your social media profiles in terms of bio, in terms of for searchability, how you can optimize your Google business profile. But ultimately what you can then be doing once these are optimized, because that's great, but then how do you consistently keep showing up, keep not forcing or pushing the algorithm to deliver your content to the right people. So I say you want to be posting kind of, I always say the maximum amount that you can do whilst like maintaining sanity is important. Appreciate you're very busy, but maybe go with kind of 2 to 3 times a week with a mix of all the different kind of content types you can be doing, whether that's photos, videos, stories, really keeping that brand tone, colors and style consistent. And reply to messages and comments quickly. Platforms push accounts that engage back. So don't just post and ghost. You just stick about, interact with the people, and that will ultimately help. So that was a little bit of a whistle-stop tour about
profile discoverability, like really get our bookings up. So we hope you find that really helpful, but do keep an eye on your email inbox for your content being delivered to you as well.
Yeah.
And that we've kind of just got a final checklist to run through here as well. So making sure that you've got your keywords, and that's, you know, the things that parents are most likely searching for in your name and bio are really clear, has been covered off. To making sure that you have whatever kind of class that you run, session that you run, and the area that you're in is really important, kind of the first stop.
Again, kind of how I said, where your USP is benefit-led. So if your classes are all about instilling confidence in young children or developing technical skill, that kind of thing, that's what you're leaning into. But make sure it's really benefit-led. Otherwise, you're not really going to be tapping into those kind of emotional reactions with parents and what they want for their children.
And then making sure the benefit-led things that you're thinking about lead into your social captions as well in particular. And making sure that you have strong call to actions. That doesn't always need to be necessarily book into a class, but you could be directing people a bit more softly. So it could be discover more about camps that we've ran, or you know, refer a friend to these types of things. Like, what is it that your current parents could be doing? And then also making sure that you are using those more commercial direct call to actions, like book your slot now, trial a class for free, or trial a class for just £5. You know, what is it that you're wanting to get? And have a different variation of call to actions, and that means it's never becoming stagnant on your platform either.
Yeah, definitely. Making sure that link in bio is relevant and direct, which then ultimately leads to a frictionless booking experience as well.
Make sure your content is consistent and you stop the scroll. So making sure that your content stands out, is bold, it's punchy, it's vibrant, it's exactly what your brand is. And remember, go back to your parents and kids in your classes to find out if you're not sure about what that is. But the quicker that you can stop them from scrolling on by, the more that they'll engage with it, the longer that they'll spend looking at your content. And then Instagram goes, well, that's great, that person liked that content, so we'll serve it to more people.
The local tags and hashtags are used. So hashtags definitely not as important now as they used to be, but they are for platforms like TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, keep with the hashtag strategy. Otherwise, I would really lean into local tags and local keywords. And you know, as Rebecca mentioned, we will be doing an SEO kind of for beginners. Of course, we'll be teaching you how you can find those keywords that parents are going to be searching and that you can be leaning into.
And then the final thing is, don't just think it's all about social media. You want to think about organic channels and as well. And part of that is Google My Business, to make sure that you, at the end of this webinar, go and claim your listing in Google My Business. Make sure that you manage it. Make sure that it's something else you add into your monthly to-do list. Make sure that you're claiming it to build trust and credibility. Make sure that you're asking and directing parents for reviews there. You're adding pictures so that when parents do search you on Google, most of the time they'll either do Instagram or Google search, that it's really easy for them to find out who you are, what you offer, and how to get in contact or how to book.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining, and hopefully see you at next month's online event.
Good luck increasing your bookings ahead of the new term. We're sure that if you do apply these things, then you will see a big increase in bookings, and we will see you at the next webinar if you sign up.
Yep. See you then.